do again?
We're doing the top 20 best diesel locomotives of all time.
We're gonna mention a little bit of British diesel engines.
British Railway diesel, some better ones. Oh
Okay, as
yeah,
long
the
as there's
ones that are
not a
good.
lot that are bad.
However, not everything they made that was bad. We're
All
gonna talk
right.
about another
And we are back.
another. You guessed it,
Locomotive,
British Rail
locomotive.
build
I mean,
classic.
I'm just saying, not a huge fan when it comes to British rail trains. Okay.
Yeah, because of history in the dark of what he said.
I mean, yeah, well, not because of that, but because he also has reasons too. I mean, I believe also his theories, but I also believe
I
in my
think we're
theory, I
at
just think
number.
they're worthless.
I think
That's
we're
all.
at number 11.
So, Manuel, do you see the meme that I did?
Yeah, I know, I saw that.
I'm gonna find a British Rail locomotive.
I did
I
that. I
think
did
we're
that
gonna
on Google
talk about the
Docs.
Class 14 Teddy Bear.
If it's a surprise too that after rewatching the season 6 retrospective of Thomas, Unlucky Tug thinks that Edward the Really Useful Engine is one of the worst episodes, and Rusty saves the day too. I agree with that.
Manuel, I sent you the British Rail Class 14. You can read it.
Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. You gotta send us a picture to see what we're reading about, just to send everyone this. Just send a
This is
picture
the
of the
British
locomotive.
Rail
Yeah.
Class 14 diesel
Okay, the
locomotive.
British Rail Class
Locomotive
14.
structure.
Do I do the British accent or what? Should we do it? No, okay, no.
British
Okay.
accent. Maybe you can read
Okay,
it.
the British Rail Class 14 is a type of a small diesel hydraulic locomotive built in the mid
This is not
1960s.
British accent.
Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. Sorry. Um, but yeah, I can because like I haven't. My mouth's dry. Okay, just letting you guys know my mouth isn't working. Anyways, the British Rail Class 14 is a type of locomotive. Is a type of small diesel hydraulic locomotive built in the mid 1960s. 2060 of these 0-6-0 locomotives were ordered in January 1963 to be built at British Railways in Sinden Works. The anticipated work for this class was trip working movements between local yards and short distance freight trains. The good all round visibility from the cab and the dual controls also made them capable of being used for shunting duties. The order was expanded from 26 to 56 in mid of 1963. Before work had started on the first order, they were numbered D9 5000 to D9555. Holy crap, I can't
And
believe they even did
yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
so we're not going to read the rest of it because of how much time that might be able to
But
go
but we do
today.
we want to mention some little bit of mentions, however, about how they were built and how they were. Remember
Yeah,
we
and they
earlier
were
that we said
also
that they were
built.
built with hydraulics, They were built
But
with
let me
different
read
type
the
of
technical.
hydraulics.
Well, anyways, I can read the technical details. So
Okay, okay,
here we
okay.
go. So,
Alright.
technical details. In July of 1964, the first of a class of 56 locomotives appeared from Swindon Works. These were later designated as TOPS or TOPS Class 14 by British Railways. In case if you don't know what TOPS aka TOPS for short, and it stands for the Total Operations Processing System and is a computer system for managing railway locomotives and rolling stock known for many years of use in the United Kingdom. And they are known as teddy bears by enthusiasts, following a comment by Swindonworks, erecting shop foreman George Cole, who quipped, "We've built the Great Bear," and now, and it was the British Great Western Railway, a 462 Pacific number 111, the Great Bear, and it was a failure. But it wasn't. It was worse than the Class 14 Teddy Bears. But the Class 14 Teddy Bears were much more better. And now we're going to build a teddy bear. An outline, they have a cab offset from the center or from with bonnets at each end, with a fixed 060 wheel configuration rather than bogies as seen on all other Type 1 local classes. The locomotives were powered by a Paxman 6-cylinder Venturo 6YJXL engine, aka extra large engine with a Napier turbocharger producing 650 barbar horsepower, aka 485 kilowatts, connected to a Voith L217U hydraulic transmission and Hunslet final drive. The axles were connected by coupling rods and driven by a back jack shaft located under the cab. Between the second and third axles, the plate frames were of 1/4 inch steel and deep buffer beams almost to rail level. One was of similar thickness to the frames, the other of 5 inch thick steel to act as ballast and to even out weight distribution. But anyways, you want to read the preservation manual?
Yes, I would definitely do. Okay. The preservations and the operations. Okay. Originally, all located to depots in on the western region of British Railways, or WRBR for short. But in January 1967, however, 20 of them were sent to the Hall Dairy Coats on the Eastern Region, or ER for short, followed by 13 more later in the same year. At the Hall, they were intended for work around the docks, but the tasks were beyond the capabilities of a single locomotive. And since two locomotives required two sets of crew, they were not popular with the regent. In 1968 alone, all 33 ER locomotives were placed in storage and were subsequently withdrawn on April 1st of that year of 1968. The Class 14s, however, they, like many other early diesel types, however, back in the day, had extremely short life with British Railways. In this case, not because of poor rebellion, no, because many of its investage, or in other words, their investment, the investment duties disappeared on the BR network a few years after they came into use. BR started to dispose of members of the class from mid 1968, and the entire class had been sold to an industry or were scrapped by the end of the 70s. In their new careers in industrial, many had a working life too. Life 2 to 3 times longer than that with the British Railways, the industries in which they were employed, such as coaling mining, declining during the 1970s, and the class again became surplus, or in other words, it became delicate, I would say. I could pronounce that word, apologize. To requirements, of course. Several have since found a third lease of life on the preserved lines where they are idling. I think no, idle. Okay, for both light passengers work and with work trains on the maintenance of the permanent way. Unusually, the 9504 was leased in 2005 from its preservation group and found itself in a revenue earning service on the newest main line that the UK had built, and it was also called the Channel Tunnel Rail Link during construction, mainly in marshalling and stabilizing the 450 Metro 22 wagon concrete pumping train on the final stretch to St. Pancras Station, I would say. And of course, the D9524 was also re-engined under the ownership of BB Granger Mill. It was later re-engined again under the ownership of the Scottish RPS, who, following BR practice, it gave it the number 14,901. It now operates with a Rolls-Royce DV8 TCH hold on. Sorry, DVH TCE 640 BHP, which I have no idea what it means. I would say pounds or something. I don't know. Power unit. Of course, the last of these classes were built. Of course, the D9555 was finally locomotive constructed for British Railways at Swindon Works in 1965. Today, however, to this day in 2023, it is privately owned and operated by, of course, the company, the Dean Forest Railway, Gloucester, its original route. In July 2014, however, the East Lancashire Railway hosted 10 preserved members of the class as a celebration of the 50 years since they entry into service. So it's actually pretty surprising that these locomotives can also, like, they were so reliable back in the day. However, most of them are just preserved, and 5 of them were exported, and of course 32 were scrapped. So yeah, I would say probably they were not that good at the time during which, I mean, they were good, of course, but like they were only good for just, I don't know, like a switcher, just like kind of like 10 cents, he's good at being a switcher, that kind of way. I would say it's not good for a mainline. It's kind of like how Duck is from, in the real life world, um he works at Paddington, which if you guys didn't know, it's from the Railway series. I can't even believe that even in the Railway series they didn't even mention this in the TV show. It's understandable. I get it. Of course, these engines, like, they had a lot of career during anything. In this chart right here, as you can see in the fleet, there's a lot of the engines that are either preserved, scrapped, or exported. Of course, one of these locomotives was D9505, the 50B, was actually exported to Burgess, Belgium, actually, and it's still there even to this day in Belgium. However, most of them are still either preserved or some of them were just exported, and most of them were scrapped. But like, we
19
don't
preserved,
have,
5 exported, and 32 of them were
yeah,
scrapped.
yeah,
Were
yeah. And
trash.
honestly, I'm so surprised that even this locomotive
Anyway,
never been
so
involved with an
we're
accident.
moving yet even again to another diesel locomotive.
I hope it's a good one,
It has
please.
something to do with British Rail again. And it's the British Rail Class 37 and British Rail 8888. You can't be here twice. And how dare you? How dare you appear more twice, British Rail?
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
always tired of your terrible trains. I know you a lot. Well, no, no, no. I'm never, ever going to talk to you again because they're terrible to me. You say this, your English word. And also, every time in one of History and Dog's videos, I see your stupid logo every time. Disappointing us with the amount and the amount of money you've wasted all the time in your infamous failed 1955 modernization plan. And I know you produced a lot of bad diesels, some mostly bad electrics, some bad maglevs, and a few tiny bad steam locomotives too. But not every single one of yours is bad. But for examples, made some good engines such as the British Royal Class 37, Evan. And we're about to discuss it now. And Manuel. And does anyone want to read the information besides me and Manuel?
I'll do it.
Oh,
I
okay.
do it. I do it. I do it. I do it.
Are you sure, Alex? Are you sure you want to do it?
Yes.
Alex,
That's
you
why
need to
not? Why
private
not?
chat so you can
Just
read
do it.
British
Just do it.
Rail.
Send me the
I'm
link.
gonna help you. I'll
It's
send
already
you
in
the
private
link
chat.
to the British Rail Class 37.
Oh, it's right here.
In
Okay.
case you don't know what a British Rail Class 37 is, I already showed it to you. The aforementioned, established earlier, the British Rail Class 37. Ugh, how many
So I
times I
like
keep
that.
telling British Rail to go? Why wouldn't just leave us alone with the bad trains that they made? Are there, Alex?
Yeah, I'm there. Okay. I want to read. All right. The British Rail Class 37 is a diesel electric ecotate
It's locomotive.
or locomotive. Okay. Also known as the English Electric Type 3. The class was ordered as part of the British Rail
It's modernization.
modernization plan. They were numbered into series D6600 slash A6608 and D6700 slash D6999. All right, so I can keep going.
Yeah, you can keep going.
All
Just
right,
make sure
the
you read
class.
a little bit faster, to be honest,
Okay, the
so we
class
don't waste enough time.
37 became the familiar strait on many parts of the British rail network. In what is word, Elijah? I couldn't read good sometimes.
Which one? Which one are you at? Which one are you
It's
at?
dieselization.
This word,
Dieselization. It's called dieselization.
citation, forming in the main movement power of integrate services in East Agada
Angela.
with
Angela.
Angela
Angela.
and within Scotland. They also
Scotland. It's Scotland, dude. How can you not pronounce that, dude? It's Scotland.
He's probably
they
foreign.
also promoted the main
You're not even
Reform.
trying, dude. I'm not lying.
promote
Reform.
power or intercity services
Hmm.
in East. I forgot the name.
Okay. Calm down, calm down. Okay. Where are you at? What
I'm at
paragraph are you
I'm at East.
in? East. Okay. East. East. Oh my god, are you serious? That word is so easy. Come
East
on.
Africa.
Yeah, East Africa. Are you serious?
Alaska and within
Okay,
Scotland,
I'm looking.
they also permitted were on secondary and inter-region services for many years. Many are
Mhm.
still in use today on midnight.
Hold on, let me see. Let me
Maintenance
see.
and empty Scott moment to lies. The class 37s are known to some railway emphasis as trackers, a nickname given due to the similarity begin to the sound of the class. The end.
Okay. You didn't have to say the end, but okay.
Wait, which
And
part did you leave off?
Manuel,
Uh,
you can
a
read the
building.
description.
The
Hey, I
building.
wanted to read.
Okay.
You can
You know
read
what?
it
I'll
after
read
school.
half. How about that? How about I read half, you read the rest? How about that? Half and half.
Okay, just tell me where you left off, because I'm kind of
Okay, I'm at the
lost.
building. All right, just letting you know.
All
All
right.
right. Okay, we're at the building. Okay. Like the
You should
picture, you
read the
can see Elisha.
background
You gotta
first.
show it to everyone what the picture looks like of the rail of the British rail, because like many people might get confused. Better to do that.
Uh huh.
Anyways, there was no prototype, of course, or in other words, the prototype,
This is
as
what
you
the
like to
British
say.
Rail Class 37
The
looks like.
British Railways placed an order for 42 Class 37 locomotives in January 1959. The first was delivered in November of 1960. Oh wow, during the 60s. Wow. I guess there was modern technology coming up throughout the 60s. Wow. Surprise there. It entered service on December 2nd, actually. The BR, of course, the British Rail for short, had ordered further Class 37s before the last of the original batch had been completed in mid 1962. The final locomotive was delivered onto the Western Region, or WR for short, on November 9th, 1965. English Electric split the construction between Valcon Foundry at Newtown Lee Willows and Robert Stevenson and Hawthorns of Darlington. The 309 oh wait no. Oh, hold on. Robert Stevenson's and Hawthorns of Darlington. Shafford, you can read here. It's from I left off the 309 locomotives right there. I left off. You read that.
Wait, say that again, because my brother's kind of annoying.
I left off reading the 309. I'm at the building. The title is building. The steam engines. The background.
309.
Yeah. Yes, the 309. It says the 309 locomotives.
309. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, right there.
Mm.
It's right here, the 309. I'm at the description of the background. You know, go all the way up. Are you in the right page?
Mm, I'm lost still.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
Again.
fine. Okay. Do you want me to share my screen?
You
Here,
can
here.
finish.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. No, I'll
you
share
can
my screen. How
finish
about
it.
that? I'll share my screen so I can point you where you're at. Okay.
All
Don't
right,
worry.
please do that.
Yeah. Give me a second. Give me a second. Just give me a second. Oh, shoot. Which one is
I'm
it?
I'm not gonna say it, but
Okay, right here. It's right here. It's right here. Elijah, can you share a screen? Right here where I'm highlighting, okay? Do you see me highlighting this?
uh
Yeah.
Right there. That's where I'm at. Right here, building. I'm highlighting most of them so you can help. There. Did it help you?
Hold up, I'm gonna zoom in. It doesn't show it for me.
Elijah, are you showing the screen? No, you're showing the
Yes, I
screen right
am
now.
showing your
Oh, I
Yeah,
see,
you're
screen.
I see,
showing.
I see it, I see it, I see it.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, right there, right there.
Okay. The 309 locomotives produced in total were originally numbered in the range D6700 to D69 double nine
Triple
and
nine.
D double six.
It's
I
fine, it's
already
fine.
said
Sorry.
69, but all right. And D double six double O, and D double 608. The bodywork bears a strong family resemblance to other English electric designs, such as the Class 40 and Class 23 Baby Deltics. I can read duties, and you can read high speed trial. Manuel, uh, anyone there?
Yeah, we're here.
I'm gonna read duties, and you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You do? Did you finish reading?
I'm gonna read duties next.
All right, go ahead.
The class was designed for freight work and to haul passengers on secondary routes, and as such, the gearing was kept low. Many of the original locomotives were fitted with boilers for steam heating. The 6700 to 6754 were fitted with boilers from new, along with the D6758, D6775, D6781 to D6818. D6875 to D6892, D6960 to 6968 received boilers from D6701 to 6709 during 1967 to 1968. 37,247 was fitted with a boiler in 1977, with the withdrawal of many Type 2 and Type 3 locomotives in the 1980s. The the 37s were selected as the standard Type 3, and many of the fleet were given a heavy overhaul to prolong their life into the 1990s and beyond. Some were fitted with electrical train heating, ETH for short, equipment for in the 1980s to become the 37/4 subclass, initially for use on the West Highland Line, the Welsh Marches Line, and South Wales Bristol area services the far north lines, but later seeing use in the North Mid Wales and occasionally the West Country. In 2010, Cumbrian coastline and Wherry lines. Uh,
You having trouble? Or is that it?
Mm.
Mm, I think that's enough. Okay, I think that's enough reading. Actually, there is another
But
mention we do want to mention
anyways,
before
I'm gonna
we
read
move
it.
on.
We're gonna talk about the North American days.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
but wait, we want to mention something else too. Let's just mention something real quick about the diesel engine, like about it. It actually encountered a lot of accidents. This engine was honestly an accidents and incidents right here. On the night of December 16th to 17th of 1965, D69083, while holding a train, was collided with a derailed freight hauled by D1671 through our near Bridgen, South Wales. The driver and the second man of D1671 were killed instantly, and the damage to both locomotives was extensive enough that even though each locomotive was barely a year old, they were withdrawn and eventually scrapped. D6983 was the first Class 37 withdrawn and the only one of the class not to be renumbered. In January 1988, however, locomotives numbered 3761 and 3672 were holding a freight train that was diverted into a siding at Toddsville Junction, Devon, to due to the due to a pointman's error. The train collided with the wagon, pushed it through the buffers, and it was derailed. Some locomotives suffered nose end damages through the minor collisions. As a result, however, the number class 37-0 variants were rebuilt with the split head code boxes that were a feature of Series 1 build, replaced by Series 2 style Century head code panels. On May 12, 2014, Locomotive 37198, stored by Network Rail on the Great Central Railway and coupled to a post office sorting van, ran away for 1.8 miles, 2.9 kilometers, due to an efficient place reel scotch. It then struck the end of a vehicle of a rake of five Mark I coaches. Luckily, there was no one hurt during the incident. Honestly, I can't even believe that there was they mentioned even a runaway. Wow, reminds me of the runaway from the episode of Thomas. I'm not gonna lie. Literally. But like, yeah, this engine did have a lot of accidents and some preservations and scraps. However, they did happen, but it wasn't as bad as other type of engines that were there. This isn't like one of those. How should I say? Those kind of engines that have a bad reputation, kind of like the F40s. Let's just talk. Let's like the F40s. But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
Amtrak, Amtrak.
We already know that much of it, so we don't even have to explain. But anyways, let's move on. Let's move on. But yeah,
Let's
it's
talk
actually so
about
surprising.
another one from North
Speaking of
America.
speaking of Amtrak, tomorrow on May 1st, it's the 52nd anniversary on Amtrak. Maybe I'm thinking about what if I did this
Let's talk about the EMD. Let's
what if I
talk
did a
about the
family
EMD
commercial?
D, both the DE30AC and the DM30AC.
By the way, this is diesel locomotives, right? Would the
Yeah, it's a
F40s be
diesel
in this,
locomotive.
please? Could,
The
could the
D
F40s?
the DM
I sent
thirty
it to you,
ACs and
Manuel. You can read it.
30
Okay.
the DM
Okay.
30
Who wants to
ACs
read
are
it? Alan, how
from
about you
Long
read?
Island Railroad.
Yeah. Alan, you want to read it?
Sure.
Tomorrow will be the 52nd anniversary of Amtrak.
Amtrak.
Holy crap! I didn't even
All
know
right,
that.
so
Yeah.
the EMD DE
That
30
fast?
AC and DM
I don't
30
know fast.
AC are a class of 46 locomotives built between 1997 and 1999 by Electromotive Division in the Super Steel plant in Schenectady, New York, for the Long Island Railroad of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority (MTA) in New York. Originally divided equally between the two types, the fleet currently consists of 24 DE30AC locomotives, diesel power only, and 20 DM30AC locomotives, diesel or third rail power. The DE30AC and DM30AC locomotives replaced aging GP38 locomotives with GP38s used to push and pull diesel trains and other locomotives converted into power packs, cab control, used to provide a head and power for the trains. The bodies of the DE30AC and the DM30AC are extremely similar. The difference is the ability of the DM30AC to use electric third rail while the diesel engine is off, enabling the locomotive to use the East River tunnels into New York Penn Station. This permits direct service from non-electrified lines in eastern Long Island via the western electrified main lines all the way to Penn Station. A few such trains a day run off on the Port Jefferson, Montauk, and Oyster Bay branches, usually during peak times. Single engines run with six cars or fewer, in which case the engine is on the east end of the train and a C3 cab car is on the west. Manhattan facing, and generally, two engines are used when there are seven or more cars. Of or the original 46 locomotives, 44 are still in use. The locomotives retired include DM30AC 503, which was damaged in an accident at Huntington on October 23rd, 2000. It hit a shopping cart on the tracks, which shorted out the third rail and caused the locomotive to catch fire. It sat in the Long Island, the LIRR's Morris Park facility, and had been stripped for spare parts to maintain the remainder of the fleet until July 2018, when it was scrapped. DM30AC uh, 511, which was damaged in an accident on May 25th, 2019. It hit a 14-unit long train stopped at a siding rated for 13 units of train length, which caused the locomotive to lose a third rail shoe and sustain frame damage. It is now sitting in the Morris Park facility, most likely to be used for parts before being scrapped. In addition, DM30AC 507 suffered an electrical cabinet failure. Unlike 503 and 511, it was salvaged by being converted into a DE30AC locomotive renumbered to 423 and returned to service. And is that it? Or do I read a planned replacement?
Um. Okay. Okay. I think that's enough reading. We need to have a little bit information about this engine, to be honest. So, like, it's honestly one of the most, I would say, quote, recognizable. I'm not 100% sure, but like, it could be recognizable. I mean, they still run even to this day, correct? Um, am I right? Or am I wrong?
Yes, you are right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
Hopefully,
still
they're going
run
to be
on Long
replaced by new
Island
Siemens
Railroad.
Charger SC44s too.
Wait, Long Island is New York, right? I shoot, I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't remember that much of Long Island. I know Long Island is honestly next to New York. That's all I know. It's next to New York. That's all I know. Might be planning on going to New York, but not 100% sure. But I might. Never know. Anyways, okay, so the engine is honestly just like, I mean, there's a lot of these engines even to this day, to be honest, and it's honestly one of the most recognizable icon. Of course, like every engine has to have a design. They have the cab, of course, they have everything. And however, none of them actually didn't get involved into an accident. Well, I mean, they did have a little bit of accidents, but that was between October 23rd of 2000, however, because they hit a shopping cart on the tracks, which shorted out the third rail and caused the locomotive to catch fire. Luckily, however, it wasn't like permanently scrapped, but it was scrapped, however, until July 2018, however, in a few years to come. Of course, it wasn't the end for that, because another engine, which is DM30AC511, was also damaged in another collision on May 25th, 2019. It had hit a 14-unit long train stopped at a siding rated for 13 units of train length, which caused the locomotive to lose a third rail shoe and sustain frame damage. I think this is something that Alan had said. Okay, yeah. But in total, the train, however, was also scrapped and was being used as parts even to this day. I mean, for me, when it comes to like scrapping engines, at least they're trying to keep most of the parts, like keeping them for parts in case if damaged trains, let's say there's a new engine, right? And that engine's been scrapped, right? This new engine got into an accident, it's been scrapped, and they still use them. They use that engine still, but not on service. They're not using it on the rails. They're using it as, how should I say, shopping. Let's just say that
Yeah,
shopping. Yeah,
spare parts.
yeah, shopping for spare parts. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And of
I
course,
learned
you
us.
keep using that and everything. I mean, that's what happened with Amtrak AC64 when it got derailed in the Frankfurt Junction collision. Look at that.
Yeah,
Still used as parts.
Still
I
uses
think,
parts
right?
and more likely will never return.
Dang. And honestly, I can't even believe it that just like 8 people died, and it wasn't as bad as the Chase Maryland collision in 1987. However, but
Despite we
still,
lost
those two
lives,
incidents shouldn't
it could
happen.
have been a lot worse though.
True, honestly.
Because
Imagine this,
What if
like
you
that
want to
train
read
was
about the
going 100
EM,
miles an hour. I would
the
say,
General Electric
100 for sure.
U36CG and U34CH? Let's read the U36C first.
True. All right. Okay. I'll try
Sarah,
reading
do you
this.
want to read the
I'll read it.
U36C? You can read
I'll read
it.
it.
are you sure? I
Ooh,
can
it's a
read
Santa
it.
Fe engine. Nice. Poggers, dude. Poggers. Okay. Okay, the GE U36Cs. Okay.
Oh my
Okay, the
gosh,
GE
I like these engines.
U36Cs. Of course, it's it's one of the most iconic locomotives we've seen all the time. It's an
Auto
HP diesel
train used
electric
them before.
locomotive model
Wait,
built by the GE Transportation. Of
wait,
course, it was built by the transportation officials. And
wait.
of course, it still remains one of the most iconic railroad, engines at the time. Of course, the length of the locomotive was around 67 feet 3 in 20.50 mil, standard for U30C, U33C, U34CH, U36C, U36CCHCG, oh my god, C37, and C36-7. The U36C was also steel capped pistons. Two 18 units were produced between October 1971, and February 1975 for railroads in the United States and Mexico. A further 20 units of the model U36CG, the passenger service variant of U36C, were built for use in Mexico. Of course, between
I,
1985 and 1987, Santa Fe's Club Run shops rebuilt 736Cs, number 8700, 8769 into C37 standards and were reclassified as SF 30Cs as of 2022 and still to this day. Unit
um,
9501 has been donated to the Arizona State Railroad Museum. Sorry, you were
can I
saying something?
point?
Yeah, go
I was
ahead.
gonna point something out that
And now
auto
it's
train.
Max.
Hey guys,
Hold
guys,
on,
guys. I
Elijah.
think Ruffin is to talk. Go ahead, Ruffin.
Hold on. Oh yeah. Don't forget too. Auto train actually used these two before. They were called they were called the U36Bs. They were used from 19. They were built from. They were built for the auto train service in 1971. Well, actually, kind of a little bit before auto train began, and they had them for a while, but sadly, they're no longer. They got scrapped around the 1980s because auto train discontinued its operations in 1981.
I get why, because like they need to have new engines. I would get that, and every year every engine has to be scrapped because they can no longer be used at all. Like with new technology developing, they have to at least scrap one of their, makings of it.
Oh,
And for
auto
example, we
train.
already know which engine is it. To be honest, we already know how it
Yeah,
looks like.
the first two engines were scrapped in 1973 after involving a truck accident that sadly killed the truck driver, but miraculously, none of the passengers were killed.
Well, it's still sad that the driver did die. However, it's still sad that the
Yeah,
driver
it
did.
is, but it could have been worse though.
True, man. I wouldn't imagine that. Like, I mean, Amtrak for me, I never see a passenger accident that's been involved in another incident that we might talk about in case we do another live stream about the train wreck. That I would talk about the
Also do
Fort
other stuff
Lauderdale
besides trains,
incident
such as
Amtrak in
shipwreck and sometimes
1993,
plane
just
wreck
before the Big
too.
Bayou wreck. It was actually before the Big Bayou wreck because it was in 1993, so it was about a few months before the the Big Bayou would happen.
Yeah.
And people don't even talk about this wreck. It's one of the most unrecognizable, one of the most like no one knows about this wreck. No one wants to know about that wreck. I mean, understandable. Honestly, it could have been
Yeah.
worse because little disclaimer: an Amtrak F40PH was heading for Lauderdale on March 17th, 1993, and it collided with a Heston tanker truck on a railroad crossing just outside of town. The
Oh,
explosion, however, didn't kill no one. However, but it like out of all the passengers, there were 200 passengers, and none of them even died. Most people, well, however, 6 people did die, and that was from the cars because
Oh
the
yeah,
tanker
I heard
truck
about
was
that
stuck
wreck.
in a railroad crossing, and most of the drivers were either, I would say, probably burned to death. I would say, very sad, very gruesome. I would
Yeah,
say,
the truck
but
driver
it's a miracle
was
that the
also.
passengers did not die, and neither the engineer, who is Billy
Oh yeah,
Parker. He would be. I mean, we already know Billy Parker. We already know who's Billy Parker.
yeah,
We already know
yeah,
who he is.
yeah. He did
He's
everything
the
his
guy that
best,
talks
but
in the Operation Lifesaver program.
yep.
You
And
guys didn't know.
also he described what the accident was looked like too.
I mean, yeah, and I wouldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine what he went through when he saw that.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
say that fear was just hitting him. I would say that. I mean,
yeah. I
I'm
would have
not a
been really
professional
hard.
psychiatrist, but I do know how he feels. I mean, if I was in that situation, yeah, I would have felt the same too. I would have felt the
I would
same
have felt
way. Just
heartbroken, honestly, because I felt sad for everyone.
it is very sad. I mean, like no one thinks that the Amtrak train was that incident wasn't like as bad as the big Bayou wreck. Someone told me that, and honestly, I say no. Like that's not true. It's even way worse. I mean, the big Bayou wreck was worse, and of course it is. It still is to this day. It still is, but
Yep.
not as worse as anything else, though. That's the thing. Not as much. I mean, with
Yeah.
47 people dying, yeah, that is worse. Yes, that's very, very bad.
Yeah.
You know.
But hey, if despite that, it could have been a lot worse though. If the rest of the cars fell into the water, that could have killed more people.
I mean, yeah. I mean, how many cars did fell down the water? I forgot. Like 5 or 6. I'm gonna go with 5. Let's say. Someone told me it was 5. And I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, I saw that from Forensic Files though, because I did see Forensic Files. My dad sees it all the time, and I do too. But not much though, not much. I only saw Forensic Files because they were talking about the big Bayou wreck. That's what I got interested to, because I was like, oh wow, they talk
Yeah.
about this wreck, everything else.
Yeah. Should we
I even
probably
can't
should
believe
get
that
back?
the FBI would say it was the cause of terrorism. I mean, I get why. Because in
It's
1993, we already know what happened. We already know what happened. There was a terrorist attack that happened in 1993. We already know which one is it. The World
Oh
Trade
yeah.
Center bombing. Yeah, the World
Oh
Trade
my
Center bombing.
gosh.
The bombing did not kill many people. It just killed like 5 people and injured a thousand others. But people say that was the wake up call for 9/11. To be honest, that's what someone told me. But not
Unfortunately, it
100% sure.
was.
But we're not getting into that part. Okay, let's not
Yeah.
get
Let's
into that kind
let's
of
try. Let's move
controversy.
on.
Yeah, let's just move on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
We're
was
ready
just
for the
saying.
next
I was
Locomotive.
just saying. Because
Yeah.
with a lot of research I did, I can understand why like everyone would think that. I get why.
Yeah.
I get that. Anyways, let's
I
move on to
was.
another locomotive. Any
Yeah. Let's go
locomotives
on
you
to
want to
another
share?
locomotive.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I know another locomotive, the U34CH. I know Max is gonna love this one.
Oh yeah. And by the way, Max is here. By the
U30C8.
way, he's talking in the private chat. He's
Okay,
in
he's
the
sending
he's in the
you an
backstage. Get him. Yo, Max, you still
person.
here? Hold on, let me see. Is he still here or no?
Oh my gosh.
Check in the backstage, Elijah.
Yes.
Okay. Enter him and get him
Oh
in.
my gosh.
Don't worry about him. He's cool. Trust me. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm just looking on something on eBay and right now. That's all I'm doing.
I don't trust that much of eBay, to be honest. I only bought one item, and that was the Thomas Ertl thing, and I have no idea if it's coming or not. So
Well,
I can
to me, I just look at information like the positives or whatnot before I consider buying it.
I mean, yeah, I always look at the views first before, and I mean that Thomas Ertl was legit, had so many views, and I was like, oh, okay, this is legit, I would buy it.
And also check the
I did.
pictures carefully as well.
True, of course I do that. Of course, that's what my sister.
I do that too so many times because I shop there a lot.
I mean that's understandable because eBay is not a corporate operation. I mean eBay is a company, but like it's not as an industrial company like Amazon.
Yeah.
Well,
Because Amazon,
Amazon
they
Plus
don't lie.
Prime.
That's the thing. They don't lie.
How about
But,
and don't forget Etsy too.
all right. Anyways,
Yeah. Let's probably get back to
let's get to the engine. Okay, the
Let's get to the engine.
GEU34CH. Ralph, do you want to read this?
Okay, yeah, I can check. Yeah, I'll look at that.
Yeah, it's the GEU34CH. It's the one that Max likes. Actually, he likes that engine so much.
Yeah, I got information. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I kind of want to rush a little bit because I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna try to rush.
It's understandable. That's understandable. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rush too fast though, because I know everyone's gonna miss a lot and whatnot. So yeah. Anyway,
True.
let's go ahead. Woo-hoo, let's go. Okay. The U30CH was a 3600 was a 600 was a 3600 horsepower passenger diesel locomotive built by General Electric between 1970 and 1973. In total, 33 U34CH units were built. 32 were built for the New Jersey Department of Transportation, also known as New Jersey for short, and they were operated by uh, Eric Lackawanna Railways and then later Conrail, with the last unit coming as a later rebuild of the GE U30C for the New York MTA. So as I said, 32 additional locomotives were numbered 3351 to 3382 were built by GE for the New Jersey Department of Transportation, also known as NJ DOT for short, and they were operated by Erie Lackawanna Railways with the new Pullman Standards push-pull coaches. The units were intentioned to replace the locomotives and some cruisers.
Max is back here. Can you add a Max in here?
The units were intentionally to
Get
replace the
ready for his
locomotives and sudden commuter
masturbation.
service out of Lubbock, New York. The U-34
U-boat,
CHs.
U-boat, 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 U-boat. I love U-boats.
Oh, is that you? Oh yes, welcome. It's been a
Yes,
while.
I love this. I love you. Understand? I love these engines. These are my favorite
Yeah,
engines.
don't worry. I understand that. Okay, let's get back to work now. Let me get back to it.
I can
Do
confirm your
you?
information.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
dude, stop. Okay, Rail Fender, stop.
What?
I meant Max, stop. I meant Max. I'm so sorry,
Oh
Max.
my gosh! I was like, what
I'm sorry, I
the?
get
I
confused.
literally.
It's because he has the same Rail Fender. He's a Rail Fender. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's no. All right. The U30CHs provided the GE U36Cs and GE's catalog. The U34CH was the first GE locomotive to use steel crowned pitons to develop 3600 horsepower and was the first commuter locomotive built with a shack drive HEP, that is a HEP device authority device by the locomotive prime mover rather than using a while using while then by a single diesel. To provide HEP on the pre pro P pro pro P AC frictions, the FDL-16s into HEP. By contrast, when not providing HEP, the FDC-16 could provide it could produce 36 couldn't can produce 3600 traction horsepower as its usual 1050 RPM. To show their the New Jersey new NJ dot ownership, the units were painted into a dark blue and silver paint scheme with the New Jersey with the NJ dot J with the new with the NJ dot logo, and was often
Max
called
is
Bluebirds by
Max is
rail
back.
enthusiasts. Hold on for a minute, guys.
It's
Thank God.
fine.
Oh, thank God. I thought I was gonna miss this whole thing.
Good chill
Okay,
out.
now, all right, hold on. I got okay. Let me. Okay, so anyway, the U34CHs were sometimes used on the Erie Lackawanna freight service, often being
Only on
often being
weekends.
on.
Only on
Oh
weekends.
yeah,
Would only go back to service on weekdays only.
yeah. Often being on freight duty from Saturday to Sunday and returning to commuter service Monday morning.
I just said that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now we're on to the Conrail part. On April 1st, 1960, the Erie Lackawanna, which had been bankrupt since 1972, was merged into Conrail. The U34CHs were
Renumbered to
assigned,
4151 to 4182.
yes, only one only one 53 3351 will receive Conrail lettering. It was involved in a wreck in 1974 and was sent to the GE shops and Chesterland, 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 um, and Chesterland, Ohio, to be
She
rebuilt.
would also have she would also have a slightly thinner NJ dot stripe, making it stand out among the other units.
Yeah, it was returned. It would it returned painted
Conrail
into the
1776 bicentennial.
yeah bicentennial. Yeah, it was eventually renumbered to
4151.
4151 in the New Jersey NJ dot paint scheme. The other U30C H's show a little change of their EL days and continue to operate on the former EL lines out of Hoboken, New Jersey. They continue to wear their
Some
to wear
U-34s were
their
painted into New Jersey Transit Cisco stripe paint scheme, while some received a silver front, which would wear off soon after.
yeah. They still wear their bluebird paint scheme.
That is true. Some of them.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. On there, marking with their new numbers. In 1978, one final U-36B was built for the New York MTA, later Metro North Railroad, as part of their
Rebuilt
community.
Chicago and Northwestern U-30C. Involved in a wreck and rebuilt into a U-34. Numbered
Yeah.
4183.
Okay. As part of their commandership to service to Port J, New York. This new U-36C number 4183 was rebuilt from, yeah, as you said that
Chicago and
already.
Northwestern's U-30C.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but you already said that already. It was also painted into the Bluebird paint scheme, but with a TRE logo on the nose.
That is true.
Yeah.
I can confirm.
Yep. Conrail operated commuter service on behalf of the NJ DOT until January 1st, 1983, when the New Jersey Transit took over all commuter rail operations in the state of New Jersey.
As New Jersey Transit took over the U-34CHs, some of them kept the Bluebird paint scheme, with some having a silver front and some having the disco stripe paint scheme, and retained the same numbers as 4151 and 4182.
Yep. All right. And yeah, by the 1990s, the U-34Cs were starting to show their age. So as New Jersey Transit received new rebuilt former Pennsylvania Railroad GP40 PH-2Bs from Conrail's Juniata shops during the 1993 and 1994, the fate of the U-34CHs were sealed. As the units suffered minor mechanical failures, they were removed from service rather than being repaired. The U-34CHs were eventually retired from passenger service in August 1994. At which
with
time
a farewell train that had 4176 and 4172.
Yep. On there. Yeah, to run a farewell train. Yeah, a few U-34Cs were used for work train service until the delivery of the replacement of the GP40-2s.
After that, all the U-34CHs were retired. Some were sold to Alstom as scrap. One was sent to a Brazil locomotive company and then scrapped. And then 3372 is currently being restored.
Yep. Yep. And then I'll read the preserving. Well, I'll read the preserving, and then we'll go from there.
I just said that it's going under restoration there.
Okay. I think that'll be enough then. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is something good about it, to be honest. It used to be. You guys did mention that it was going in for New Jersey Transit, correct?
Yeah.
And it's still around even to this day, right? Or was it preserved already?
And it's supposed to be cosmetically repainted by September of this year for New Jersey Transit's anniversary. And then later in a couple of years, this engine should be running under its own power again.
Okay. Okay, I see.
Yes. See, and that is my favorite locomotive of all time.
I mean, that's understandable to be honest. I mean, I have a lot of locomotives that are my favorite, especially the F40 PHs. Don't get me wrong; they're most iconic for Amtrak. To be honest, they were the most powerful engines. Even
Yeah.
the P40s too. The
Even
P40s were okay.
and
I
what
mean,
a, and what's your opinion on the Chargers?
what do you mean the Chargers? What engines again? What do they look like?
The
Give me a picture.
you
SC-44s,
remember the
LC-42s, SCB-40s,
Oh,
SC44s
oh,
and
those
SCB-42s.
engines. Oh,
SC44s
yeah, I
and
have no opinion about that. I
ALC43s.
just think they're okay. You know, I just think okay, they're all right.
Can I
You
go
know,
over a locomotive?
I mean, think about this. This isn't like these F40 PHs will still be here today. I mean,
Which
they all
locomotive
been
do
in
you want to go
wrecks
on to?
in the '90s. You
Can I
already know
talk
which.
about the GP40P or like G? Yeah, can I talk about them?
I want to talk about the
Yeah.
P42. I want to talk about the P40s. I want to know.
And okay, after that, can I talk about
Oh,
them?
fine, fine.
Unfortunately, we don't have enough time because I'm about to go to bed because I have to go to school tomorrow. So
Uh,
part 3 will become
Oh,
up
school.
sometime in
oh,
July.
School again.
Okay.
It's stressful
I
for
feel
me.
Well,
I
my
feel
To
bad
be
history,
for
honest.
everyone, honestly.
lesson is brief, so I'm just gonna go over
But
it.
anyways,
I'm not complaining to
but
be
you're
honest. I mean,
very
that's life.
happy
So
that we
yeah.
covered your favorite locomotive, the U34CH, Max.
It is my favorite locomotive. It used to be the E8,
Yes.
which
Hey,
E8s are a very
Elijah.
close.
By the way, Elijah.
E8s are a very close
Can we
second.
do
Yeah.
can we do another crashing activities another episode about the aviation disasters? Because I have a lot of
Can
aviation
we have a
disasters to
crashing
talk about.
activities where it's specifically me
We'll
going over
try to
favorite
make. I'm gonna try
locomotives?
to make those episodes so they'll air
I mean,
around
we
in
did the
July.
famous
Because
shipwrecks. Remember, we did the famous shipwrecks.
Can there be
yes, but
crashing activities specifically
anyways,
related to me?
Most of them.
anyways, thank you so much for
Sometimes,
watching
and be
this
safe.
live stream. I wish you all good luck. Good night. Bye.
Okay.
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Hasta
Okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
luego.
see you later, guys.
That's all,
Good
folks.
night, everyone.
God bless you all.
Yeah.